Hi everybody, my name is Robin and welcome to my channel BirdsEyeStitches. This is a channel about cross stitch, so if you're new here then welcome. Hopefully you are here because you have a love of cross stitch like I do. And if you are returning then still welcome. Clearly you are here because you have a love of cross stitch just like I do. Today is Sunday. It is April 5th, which if you celebrate Easter then happy Easter. Today happens to be Easter. I'm filming a little bit later in the day, although I feel like my last couple videos have been late in the day, but that's okay. To celebrate Easter, I had a family lunch, so, prepared for that, had family lunch, picked up my daughter, all the family things, a little bit of stitching in the morning, and now everyone is winding down, starting laundry, doing all the normal Sunday things, including filming. So, I've got a few things to show you guys. My stitching was back to somewhat normal over this last week, which was great. I've got some comments to talk about from my last Flosstube video, and so we will get right to it. Okay, so my last Flosstube video was a week ago, and first of all, I had asked you all to, in the comments, to list what you were working on if you were working on something while watching my Flosstube video. That was so fun. I looked up quite a few projects I had never heard of before, and it was really fun and of course very enabling to see all the things you guys were working on while working on my videos. After reading through those and replying to the comments, it inspired me. I'm gonna try to make it a point over this next week that while I'm watching your guys' Flosstube videos to talk about whatever it is I'm stitching on when I watch. If I'm stitching, that is. So, okay, we'll get right to it. So first comment I wanted to shout out was from McKenna. Hi McKenna. McKenna is from 1884 Stitchery. So I had asked for some recommendations. If you remember on my last video, as well as a few videos back, I've been picking up some of those metal pins. Like the metal pins seem to be in now, like, pins you can put on your shirt or whatever. They're like swag pins. But I've been picking those up because some of them I felt like they would make really fun needle minders. And well, I don't really need any more needle minders. Like I literally just bought 2 and I'm looking at my board right now. I have about 12, and that does not include whatever I have on my active project. So I've got more than enough. But how fun would it be to make my own needle minders out of things that I find while I'm around town and with my family and whatnot? So anyway, I asked for recommendations because when I went onto Amazon, there was tons of different magnets, like different strengths and thickness and sizes and whatever. So McKenna, she does have a shop where she sells cross stitch supply, well not supplies, but cross stitch patterns and floss and all the goodies. Check it out. I will link it below, 1884 Stitchery. But she recommended the rare earth silver magnets. Any of the multi-packs were fine, but the reason why I am highlighting this comment is because she gave me a recommendation that says, do not get the dark colored magnets because sometimes either the paint or whatever it is they put on those dark colored magnets, or because they're not coated in silver, it can actually discolor your fabric. And that would be awful. Like, could you imagine putting some dark magnet on your piece and then forgetting about it? And I assume it would wash off, but I don't even want to risk it. So I appreciate that. I did order, in fact, they might arrive today. I did order some magnets, so I'll be making some of my own needle minders soon, as well as I ordered, I'm not going to say what it is, but I ordered something that I'm going to be handing out to my table mates and anybody else who says hi to me in some of my upcoming stitch retreats, which I will talk about later in the video. So thank you for that. The next comment I wanted to highlight was from Zook717. Some of you may know her as Zook Stitch. Hi, Carolyn. So she says, she, along with some of the rest of you all, commented on my new intro. So she said that she loved my new intro. I do have an intro, which is super exciting. I might need to lengthen it a little bit. I'm still kind of working on it, but I specifically love that intro because it was actually designed by my stepdaughter. She is a graphic artist. Like that's what she does for a living. She doesn't make Flosstube intros, obviously, but I did ask her to help me design one for me. So she actually made me a logo for my channel as well as that intro, and I absolutely love it. So shout out to her, thank you. And I do love the intro. I just need to figure out how to make it a little longer. She could probably help me with that. I don't know. But along with that, I'm learning how to mesh my videos together. I think I talked about that in my last video. Again, it's not rocket science. You all would laugh if you saw what I did for a living. The amount of tech I do every day is mind-blowing. Meshing videos together for personal use, I don't know. Anyway, so Zook717, she says she loved my new intro. She said the fact that I said P is for porcupine, even though it's a hedgehog, that's what it's all about when it comes to Magazine Monthly Challenge, and she's exactly right. So I will talk about that later on in the video as well. And she said that people would like watching me feed an ostrich. So what that is about is, I talked about in my last video when I talked about my trip to Virginia, how I ended up having to rent a car, and we did a 8-hour-long road trip, which kind of turned into like the vacation that it was supposed to be, but it turned into a road trip. So one of the pit stops that we made was, I saw a sign on the side of the road that said there was a roadside, I wrote it down, I always forget the words here. It was a drive-through petting zoo. So I will talk about that video, and I'm going to add the video to the end of this, so stay tuned. But essentially I feed an ostrich, and when I'm talking about life, I will get more into detail on that video towards the end, because not all of you care about my life, and that's okay. But I will put that ostrich video at the end, and when you laugh out loud, you can thank Carolyn for that. Last but not least on the shout outs was from SylverStitches. She was working on a full coverage piece called Sunset Swing. She says you can see that on her upcoming Flosstube. So this is a comment that is also a Flosstube shout out. SylverStitches, she does have a Flosstube channel. I have watched, I think, 2 videos now. I think the last one was about a week ago, so she probably has one coming up here pretty soon. But she has a very wide variety of cross-stitch pieces, and I've enjoyed getting to know her through her cross-stitch work. So check her out. I've got 2 more Flosstubers I wanted to shout out. The first one being Tammy. Tammy, I have shouted you out before. Tammy is from the Woodland Stitching Studio. Hi, Tammy. Tammy is just awesome. She just did a video, and in that video, she actually shows how she uses the pins. I showed you guys in my Flosstube Extra how I bought some of those cross-stitch pins, and I was saying I don't actually have a clue how to use the things, but they're super cute and everyone buys them, and so I bought some. So Tammy is an amazing cross-stitch finisher, and she was showing some creative ways to use the pins, as well as just showing all of her cross-stitch pieces. So Tammy is actually working on the same hedgehog that I'm working on, but she is stitching hers on a really beautiful yellow. It's like a golden yellow. I don't know. I love yellow, so as soon as she held it up, I was like, ooh. And of course, my whole family made fun of me because of my audible gasp about the beautiful fabric. So go check it out. Go ooh and ah over her hedgehog, aka porcupine. And last but not least for my Flosstube shout out, AlbaStitcher. So this is a new cross stitcher to me. She's got plenty of subscribers, so you all may watch her. I'd never heard of her. She just showed up as a, you may like this type recommendation. She picked up the JetX Designs, the the pink birds on the gray background, I got it in my market purchases, but she picked that up and is going to be stitching that pretty soon, which of course caught my eye because I love that chart, obviously. I picked it up. She also was stitching a piece, I think it was called Sing for Joy, but it made me laugh because it's like a massive daisy, right? It's like the daisy is the size of my head. I mean, not really, but it's like this big. And then like the house that it's in front of is like, it's like this big, right? It's like a teeny tiny little house and this huge pink daisy. So I really like that piece. I need to look it up. I don't know, look it up, maybe add it to my one day I will stitch it stash, which at this point is ginormous. But yeah, I loved it. So go and check her out. Okay, putting away the notes and plans book so we can talk about stitching. What did I stitch on? For that, we need the other notebook. So breaking out my planner here. This is the 2026-2027 My Crazy Life Lori planner, which I love. Going into the month of April, which is nuts. And we will get right into, maybe, the things that were stitched after we move this pile of new starts that are coming. Stay tuned. All right, first thing that I stitched on for this month was my 25/7 piece. So 25/7 is the cross stitch group run on Facebook by Melanie Watkins. And for that, this month, I am stitching on Birds of a Feather by Monarch Horizons. Looks like this. I am stitching the hummingbirds. These beautiful birds were already stitched, so I'm on this guy over here. And I've gotten, apparently I was shedding last time I worked on this. I've gotten 3 days. I still have to do my 25 minutes for today, but I've gotten 3 days done on this so far, and we are here. There we go, that'll work. So, last time you guys saw this, I had all of this done, and I had just this wing and a little part of the bottom part of this bird completed. So this is taking me forever because there is so many color changes. I mean, they're hummingbirds, right? So obviously there's gonna be a lot of color changes. You can't really tell, but like there's like 4 stitches of purple and like 3 stitches of gray, and then this is a different gray, and yeah. So anyway, I got this guy completed. I am backstitching as I go. I don't know, my lighting's kind of weird, but so let's just talk a smidge about the backstitch on this bird. I'm going to leave it because this is probably my favorite of the hummingbirds out of this entire piece. So I'm just gonna say that that's why this happened. But I was just stitching away on this, watching TV, watching Flosstube, and I stitched the eye and I stitched part of the beak here. And then I started the back stitch. Okay, when you're stitching the eye and you're stitching the beak, I am stitching this whole thing 2/1 because it is a 16 count Blue Aida. My back stitch is with 1 strand of black, yet here I am just stitching away, back stitching with 2 strands. So he has like a really thick beak, like he's not getting into these flowers. Sorry, buddy, I don't think that's gonna fit. Because yeah, his beak is thick and like the back stitch is dark. I can tell when I look at it, but when I hold it up like this, it's just like extra popping. So I'm just gonna leave it because, well, I don't like to backstitch and I don't like to frog, and it still looks great. There's no backstitching in the flowers or any of these branches. That's the way it's charted, so I'm only backstitching the birds. Next time you all will see it is I'll be working on the flowers in between. And then, let's see, so that is this guy here. So I gotta work on these flowers, and then I'll start in on this hummingbird right here, which is also really pretty. This chart actually tells you the name of the hummingbirds. So the hummingbird that I just finished is called the violet-crowned hummingbird. I said that is my favorite out of all of them, only because it's the most common. It's the one that I see the most. At least when I think of a hummingbird, that's what I think of. So that was 25.7. Here are squatchers. My dog has just jumped up here to join us. You're gonna have to scoot over just a smidge. There you go. Okay. All right, next up. So the next piece that I worked on was for the Magazine Monthly Challenge cross stitch Facebook group. For that group, which is a group that I co-run with my friend Carolyn. Hi Carolyn, Syl SylverStitchesoodl. So we have a pop-up challenge that's happening right now called Fool's Gold. I think that's what it's called. The purpose of that, our sun just went down, so now I'm in a shadow. I feel like I need to turn on the lights, but that's okay. As long as you can see the stitching, that's all that matters. So anyway, the Fool's Gold Challenge. The purpose of that is, or the rules for that, is you have to stitch on a piece with either a opalescent fabric or using Krynic or beads, something shiny, right? Fool's Gold. And we called it that for April because it started on April 1st, which is April Fool's Day. I am working on a piece that is on opalescent fabric. For the challenge, you have to stitch on it for either 5 hours or 500 stitches. I am halfway through, and we're about halfway through the week. Obviously, because I help run the group, and I usually do the smaller pop-up challenges, and my friend Carolyn, she does the larger ones like Springo, which is coming up. I'm not eligible to win any prizes, but I still try my best to finish. So for this one, I am stitching Sweet Mean Studios Far Better Things. Looks like this. My piece is being stitched on a 25 count opal Lugana, opal, so fool's gold, and the color is Through the Stones by Stitch Me. Gorgeous, gorgeous fabric. Said I've done 2.5 hours, and we're here. Last time you guys saw this, I had stitched part. There are, and I think part of maybe this word, maybe. So since then, there's a page break here. So I have stitched the rest of these words, as well as I just had a little bit of leftover of this brick, but not much there. So with the last 2.5 hours, you will see I'll finish up these words, and then I need to stitch whatever belongs down here. I'll eventually have to move this Q-snap because I think I still need to do a little bit of stuff on this side here, but we're making good progress on this piece. And if you can see that opalescent Lugana, there it goes. You can really get the shine in there. It's super pretty. All right, next up, is this one next? Yes, okay. Next up is my year-long Sal. So this is a year-long Sal from Just Cross Stitch, the 2026 spring edition. I used to have this bookmarked. I think it fell out. Okay, every time I go to this pattern, this pops up because this is the pattern that's like on the very next page. I love her. I might need to stitch Penelope at some point. How cute. Maybe when I finish my other hedgehog, AKA my porcupine, maybe I'll stitch Penelope. We'll see. I might have to do it. But for now, I am stitching the Tapestry of 12. I'm on part 1. Looks like this. And I finally remembered to grab my planner so we can talk about all the colors that I have used. So I am not stitching mine in the called for. I'm doing 1 square a week. So far I am up to date. I will stitch my next square today. I usually stitch them on Sunday nights. So Mine looks like this. Ta-da! Let's see if I can get some light, a little bit better light for you. There we go. Super pretty. I am loving the way this is turning out. Okay, so because I keep forgetting my notebook, I will talk about what the colors I've used so far. This first one here, this was stitched in the color Tarragon by Weeks Dye Works, which I am using this floss in the Primitive Hair Hedgehog piece. The whole goal is I take a piece of floss from something that I stitched on that week, and that's what I'm using to stitch all of this. And I'm attempting to choose colors that look relatively good together. We'll see. The next one was DMC 3857, which was the color that I was using in the piece called From Velvet to Linen. I was using this on the really deep colored flower, super pretty. Next up, I used DMC 317, which was the dark gray that I used to backstitch the Majestic Unicorn. Then I moved over here to Classic Colorworks Wavy Navy. This is the color from the Sea of Stars. Oh, I don't think I have that in this pile. E Pluribus Unum. You all, when you see this, I made some headway on this, but I made some headway in the Sea of Stars, which is what this is from. And then this last week, this is Owl Forest Embroideries 2701 from Owl Forest Embroideries Autumn Flowers, which I'm gonna show you next. I stitched 2 hours on that for the Magazine Monthly Challenge acrostic, and I stitched in this color. I'm a little nervous. I should have plenty of floss, but this used up quite a bit of floss. There was 417 stitches in this sucker, so hopefully I have enough to complete my piece. If not, it's flowers, so I'll just use another color. No big deal. But that is where we are for that. And I am stitching my entire piece on a piece of Fox and Rabbit Fabric of the Month 18 count Aida in the color Hog Bristle. So that is super fun. I feel like I'm able to keep up with this at least, okay, it's been a whole month. Like, I know, it's been 1 month. But I've been able to keep up with this better than I was ever able to keep up with any of the temperature trees or like the temperature stitchings, because it's like 1 day a week instead of trying to do something every day. So we will see how that goes. Hope we're gonna keep that up. All right, last but not least, as far as what I was stitching on, was Owl Forest Embroideries Autumn Flowers. And it will one day look something like this. Man. All right, guys, I now have an intro. So next up, oh, first of all, it's upside down. Next up, I need to break out a real lighting. Like, I have a light. I just gotta figure out where I put it when I moved. So it's somewhere. Next week, lights. Okay, so Owl Forest Embroideries Autumn Flowers. I am stitching mine on a piece of Mystic Fabrics 36 count linen in the color Cocoa. And mine is out of the Q-snap. This fabric is ginormous. Like, it's way bigger than it needs to be. But that's okay. Okay. It's ginormous and the piece is gorgeous. Here we go. We are here. So I did 2 hours on this. So I finished this flower here. This is an extremely variegated floss, so that this is all one color. And then this is the color that I use because I finished up these leaves. So I used this for the magazine Yearly Sal. That's that color you guys just saw in that. And then I also stitched this guy here. It's not showing up too great, but it's like the stem of the flower because it was in the same color and I was just trying to use that piece of floss up. So 2 hours and I got the flower, 2 leaves, and this guy. Sometimes I feel like I just fly in my stitching. And sometimes in 2 hours, I get like 160 stitches. Progress is progress, right? Okay, so that was all the stitching. Real quick on plans for the rest of the week. So I need to finish my last 2.5 hours of the Fool's Gold Challenge. So that will be on the Far Better Things piece, so you'll see that. And then for the Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge, the Facebook group, our acrostic this month is painting. And so I would like to work on the eye from that acrostic, which is the Wise Old Witch. I use that for eye because it has one color and one looks like an eye. We do allow you to be as creative as you can possibly be in this group. So the Wise Old Witch, that is on my acrostic twice, so I would like to stitch on that for 4 hours. And I am trying to knock out one whip go call a week. So this week, obviously, I worked on Fool's Gold, but for this coming week, I'm trying to get caught up in my whip go. So I will be working on the Christmas at Hawk Run Hollow piece. So you will see that. And then we'll see what I decide to throw in along the way. Of course, you're gonna see the hummingbirds because that's 25/7. We will go from there though. So last but not least, I have one item for haul. I have one item for a giveaway. And I wanna talk briefly about plans for the month of May. Because Tammy, I'm gonna say this is your fault. So Tammy, in her last video, she did some market shopping just like I did, and she started some pieces and they're beautiful. And I was like, you know, I've been doing a lot of shopping as of late, and I know I didn't want to start things until I had more finishes, but I'm throwing that to the wayside because I want to start some things. So in the month of May, we have a month-long pop-up challenge in the Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge group. It's called Springo. If you're interested, please join the Facebook group. You do have to answer some questions. We don't care how you answer them, but you would be surprised how many bots and junk. Like, you wouldn't think that bots would care about cross stitch, but they do. And then they try to sell you things that are probably not real. So answer the questions, and then we will approve you and you can join Springo. Springo is sort of like bingo, except you may or may not get a bingo, you may or may not get a blackout. Little bit different rules than the usual. I will wait for Carolyn to describe that more in depth, and I will talk about it more in depth, but let's be real, Carolyn is much better at that part. But for Springo, essentially you choose one project per letter. You have to do at least 5 projects. I'm doing 7. They are all going to be new starts. And with the exception of my 25/7 piece, that is all I'm going to stitch on next month. So whatever they call, that is what I'm stitching on for the day. I'm not doing 1 hour or 100 stitches. That's just what I'm going to stitch on. And maybe whip go, but I don't want to overdo it. So let's talk about what my new starts are going to be. We will talk about what my purchase was, because that is going to be a new start. And whenever I get to the giveaway piece, we will talk about that too. So here we go. Right on top is my one item that I purchased. So I did a very small Garan tote and bags order because for the Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge, the person who won our pop-up challenge in the month of March, I give them the choice if you want a gift card from Garan or 123 Stitch, just depending on which you prefer. And she chose Garan, so I got her the gift card. And while I was on there, mainly because I've been dealing with courts and some other nonsense at work quite a bit, I decided I want this piece in my life. I want to stitch it, and I want to hang it on my wall at work. So here we go. I picked up, what is her actual name? Hold on. Lady Justice by Nora Corbet. You all have seen her before. She's still in the plastic. My husband, when he saw this piece, he said it was giving Little Mermaid vibes. and I can't get that out of my head now, so I have been looking at some different color conversions for her dress. But then again, I really love the green, and I think if I change the background to like not be blue, I don't know. I will know before May hits, but I really want to stitch her. So I picked up Lady Justice. I did get the bead pack, so we have that, and I will be stitching her in the month of May. The color I use is to be determined. It has to match those beads because I already bought the beads. We'll see what happens. So there was that. The next one that I will be starting in May is the Blue Flowers Forest Home. It says, our roots are in the depths of the woods. Looks like this. I love this saying. I have the matching needle minder, which I use all the time. So, fun fact, there was actually a time when I was a kid where we lived in a tent in the woods. So the kids, we got the tent, and my mom and my stepdad, and at the time my little brother, who was he was a toddler, we have a pretty big age difference. They were in, we had a really old like Winnebago, like the old school one with the orange yellow W on the side. So they had the Winnebago, right, because he was a baby and whatnot, and us kids had the tent. And while there were pluses and minuses to that, there were some really great things in the sense of like every day we were looking at waterfalls, skipping rocks, just laying under the trees. So this saying that our roots are in the depths of the woods, it really called to me, and I've had this kitted up for forever and I haven't stitched it yet. So I want to stitch it. So we're going to stitch it in May. Next up is from my couple pieces from the market haul. I had someone comment on my channel. I don't know if I wrote down this comment before, but it was a great idea. She said that one of the pieces I should stitch right away was also from the Blue Flower Merry Menagerie 2024, specifically the axolotl. Look, I remember what it was called, axolotl. My daughter loves axolotls, and she said I should stitch this for her for Christmas, and she is right. It's just a little guy, so we're gonna get that one started. Other pieces from my market order that I will be starting in May. So Springo, S-P-R-I-N, has 7 letters. I have 7 starts. Glow Below. I love this piece. It utilizes this amazing floss pack. Love that guy. Have no clue what I'm gonna do with it when I'm done, but he's super fun, so we're gonna work on that. Then another piece I picked up with the floss pack was again the Blue Flower. Man, I am clearly in the mood for Blue Flower. Coneflower course. Boom. With beautiful, beautiful Valdani floss. How pretty is this? One of those pieces where hello birds, hello flowers, but also hello beautiful floss. This is really the reason why I bought this piece. So we're gonna start that. Then the clear winner, and the one that has not gotten out of my head from the market haul that I picked up, was a float by Twin Peak Primitives. Looks like this. I'm gonna work on kitting this up over the next week. So I'm going to pull variegated floss that I just have in my stash that somewhat matches these colors for the sails, and then everything else will be stitched in the called for. And I'll pull some fabric that somewhat matches. Looking forward to that. I like to watch, I hope I don't butcher the name, Flosstube channel AlbaStitcherwip. So I watch them fairly often, and they're always talking about their pirate stitch. Maybe it's a pirate sow, something to do with pirates. I should really ask them about it or see where that stemmed from. But I feel like I can now join in on whatever that is. And I mean, this is a pirate ship. So like there may not be any skulls or crossbones, but this is as piratey as I'm gonna get, and I do like it a lot. So we're gonna start that one up. And then last but not least, I was digging through, trying to keep my pile from falling over here. I was digging through some of my old things that were kitted up, because obviously I have all these new things, but I have a whole giant stash of old things. And so I was pulling from that too to make sure I had a mix. So I came across Mill Hill's Autumn Harvest Collection, Rainy Weather. It's spring, it's a mouse. How cute is that? Apparently you make a magnet. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this as a magnet or if I'm just gonna stitch it on fabric and make them into an adorable card or something. I don't know, but cute. The floss that it comes with. So if the colors are way different, I will use the floss that they provide. If I have to try to differentiate between like light blue, medium blue, and dark blue, not happening. I'll just kit it myself. So we'll see what happens on that, but that makes number 7. So I am starting all 7 of those next month, and I'm going to stitch on predominantly those, plus something for 25/7, and maybe a whip go. So you will see all kinds of new starts happening in the month of May. All right, last but not least, I have a giveaway on this video. So this week's giveaway, let me take it out of the bag so you can see it. When I pulled the big bin out from underneath the bed to see what other things do I have kitted up or ready to go, and I came across this beautiful chart that I just know I'm never going to stitch. So I got this at one of the retreats that I attended semi-recently. It's by Lindy Stitches, who is a designer that I love. It is called Beachcomber, and it looks like this. So it says, "Comb the beach for treasure with me, my heart resides beside the sea." Super cute. I obviously have been into whales and whatnot as of late, but I just know I am not going to stitch this. So I should give this to someone who will. So if you will stitch this, use the word comb, C-O-M-B, comb. I will pull a winner on my video next week. I will mail this anywhere, US, non-US, doesn't matter. Yeah, use the keyword comb. Speaking of retreats, a little bit of life. So if you've made it this far, thank you. That is all I have to show as far as haul and stitching and plans and all of that go. So life, stitch retreats. I have 3 retreats this year so far. That's probably all I'm going to do. I don't know why I said so far. Maybe because I love retreats and it sounds fun to do more, but financially and time off wise, I think 3 is good. So I am attending in the month of April. I get to see Carolyn from Syl Stitch. We are going to be attending the beach retreat together, so super excited for that. And then I'm attending the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit, PNWS, later in the year, also with Carolyn, as well as Megan from MJ Stitches 23. Hi, Megan. So that is also exciting. That one's gonna be like a slumber party, so stitching during the day, stitching at night. Yeah, way excited for that one. And then I'm also attending Stitchnanigans in Las Vegas. So Stitchnanigans is a retreat that is put on by McKenna from 1884 Stitchery. I think that you can still sign up for that. So if I like that one because number 1, it's nearby, and number 2, I can attend with my husband because him and I love to visit Las Vegas. We like to see shows and do all the things. So we can go out afterwards, and then I can stitch during the day, and he's occupied doing other things, and it just works out. So if you are attending any of those, make sure to comment on the video so I can find you and say hello and do all the things. Yeah, beyond that, It should be a relatively easy week. I plan to come back on here on Sunday, and I'm going to put in the video of me feeding an ostrich at the very end of this. So a slight backstory. You all know I love birds, right? Obviously I'm the BirdsEye Stitcher. I love birds. I love all birds. I like pigeons, I don't know, you name it, it's a bird, I like it. Except I don't like ostriches. When I was a kid, I had a family friend who had an ostrich farm, and my mom would go visit her friend, and us kids would go play with the ostriches. Ostriches are not very nice, and they're big, and so we would just run around, and I just never liked ostriches. They are probably fine, but they're so big, and they've got those beady eyes and those little beaks and the big old talons, and I'm just like, nope, no thank you. So when we found this roadside attraction where you could drive through and feed the animals, they had ostriches. They had a lot of animals, actually. Like, you all may see more of these videos scattered because I think it will be fun to just share some random videos or photos at the end in case you want to watch them. But this first one is me attempting to get over my fear of ostriches, because this ostrich was there and it sauntered on over, and you have to buy food. So you buy food to feed these animals as you drive through, and the animals know you have food. So you drive through, you roll down the window, you hold the food out, and they eat the food. So I'm like, okay, I am going to conquer my fear. I'm going to feed the ostrich. So my husband, he knows I don't like the ostriches, was like, you got this. We get there, I feed the ostrich. I don't know that it quite helped. So if you want to watch that, stay tuned. If you want to stitch beachcomber, use the word comb. Leave me a comment, say hello. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week. Happy stitching.
Bro.
Okay.
You want some food?
Okay. Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Oh God.
Okay. Okay, we're done.
Just drop the bucket. You can have it.
No more.
Oh, good stuff.
That did not help.